What does it take to become a legend? The Giffgaff Legends Tournament. Ranked League of Legends teams battle it out to compete for a prize pool of £10,000. Giffgaff Legends, Beyond the Rift.
Hello and welcome to this week's Beyond the Rift, the weekly roundup show for the Giffgaff Legends Tournament. I'll be giving you all the latest news and best game action from throughout the week. What's everyone playing for? Well, to be the winners of the first ever Giffgaff Legends Tournament and a tidy prize pot of £10,000. No wonder the best teams in the country are all having a go at it. The top 8 teams will automatically qualify for a place in our Legends Live final, taking place at Insomnia 53 on November the 21st. The eventual winners will go on to the Riot's Four Nations event at the end of the year. You can watch this roundup of the week's action every Friday on our YouTube channel. And of course, you can see all the live matches at twitch.tv/Giffgaff every Wednesday from 7 p.m. There is more. You might know the name Apollo. We've got an interview with one of the biggest names in esports casting. Here's just a tiny little bit of what he has to say.
The biggest myth in esports is that it's easy. There's no work involved. You sit there and play games and sometimes work a couple of hours or two. That's not true.
If you want to hear the whole thing, then head on over to the Spotlight section on our esports portal. Now, as you can see behind me, we've sort of, fans of the LoL champions, and every now and again we want to give you a little bit more of an insight on how to play them. This week, we're knocking on the door of Thresh. Yes, and then we're going to run away again very quickly before he can snare our souls. It's okay. But, if you're more daring, you can learn more about him with this guide.
Thresh, the Chain Warden, is one of the most commonly played supports at all levels of play. His kit contains abilities to both catch enemies and save teammates, which allows him to adapt quickly in the fast-paced flow of the game. Thresh's passive is Damnation. Enemy champions, large neutral monsters, and some enemy minions will drop orbs on death that represent their souls. Picking up souls increases Thresh's armor by 0.75 and gives increased base spell damage per soul. Death Sentence is Thresh's Q. Propelling his scythe forward, Thresh damages and hooks the first enemy unit hit. Reactivating Death Sentence will pull Thresh towards his target. Dark Passage is his W. Thresh throws his lantern out for an ally to click. The ally nearest the lantern will gain a small shield, and any ally that clicks the lantern will be pulled to Thresh's position. Thresh's E is Flay, which damages enemies in a line beginning behind him. Enemies within the area of the line are displaced in the direction of the swing and slowed for a brief amount of time. The Box is Thresh's ultimate. A pentagon of spectral walls imprisons Thresh and any enemy champions within the area. Enemy champions who pass through one of the walls will be damaged, slowed heavily, and break the wall of the prison. Relic Shield is a typical starting item on Thresh with a ward, health potions, and the warding trinket, although Ancient Coin is an alternative start. As a ranged champion, Thresh won't get the execute on minions from Relic Shield, so it's a little trickier to use than on melee supports. Sightstone is essential on Thresh, and you should swap out your warding trinket for the sweeper trinket when you buy the Sightstone. Get a Kindle Gem to build towards face of the mountain, with mobility boots to chase down enemies. Mikhail's Crucible is useful for laning with Vulnerable Marksman, with Randuin's Omen and Locket of the Iron Solari being useful items for added tankiness. When possible, coordinate ganks with your jungler and use Dark Passage to get them into lane quickly. A common way of mind gaming your opponents in lane is to throw out the lantern behind you as if your jungler is coming to the lane to gank. When used sparingly, this can release a lot of pressure from enemies pushing towards your tower. Armed with the basics for Thresh, it's time to head to the Rift to harvest the souls of your enemies.
Back to this week's action. There was a good effort by teams who put in the hard graft to squeeze in 2 matches each in an attempt to work their way up the league table, such as the Dream Scheme and Barama Legends. They first played each other, with the Dream Scheme coming out on top. Unfortunately, they kind of failed to repeat that result when they played Team Infused. You can see for yourself what happened in Barama Legends' second game, as it's one of our featured matches this week. The other noteworthy fixture was between top table teams Helix Guitar Gaming and Risky Recalls. Going into the match, Helix Guitar occupied the second spot in the league after 5 wins on the trot, and Risky Recalls were down in the 8th. But impressively risky recalls caused Helix Guitar their first loss of the tournament and gave themselves a good boost in the rankings in the process. There was one team who couldn't play at all this week, and that's Obamacare UK. Sadly, their captain, Ollie Nava, has been ill all week, so special shout out and a get well soon to Ollie Nava. You know, we look forward to seeing you back here when you're feeling a little bit better. Want to comment on any of the matches that have taken place? Email esports@giffgaff.co.uk and tell us your thoughts. Or, you know, tweet with the hashtag GiffgaffLegends. Moving on to this week's featured games. In match 1, Nigel Esports take on FM Esports. In match 2, the Atlas team will play London Conspiracy. And in match 3, as mentioned earlier, Barama Legends face Best College UK. And our 4th match, Team Infused go up against Mistakes Were Made. Can't wait to see that one. Well, so to our first match. We saw them both last week. It's Nigel Esports versus FM Esports. If you remember, I did have a lovely chat with, Just Call Me Ash from Nigel Esports about where their team name sprang from, and it was all to do with a little mishap to do with some t-shirts. As a low-ranked team, they bravely matched up against big hitters Best College UK, and now it seems they want to make a habit out of heroic contests, because this week they took on one of the hot favourites for the title, FM Esports. FM were unbeaten going into this game. Well, no surprises there. Let's see if their run of good form continued. The commentators for this match are Josh Fye Wyatt and Ben Hosford.
So we'll see if this actually pays out, but I expect some early pressure from Nutri, probably early invading Hecarim as well.
Definitely.
And I mean, Maokai and versus Nasus, the one thing we haven't touched on is Maokai doesn't really have any pressure. Right? No. Nasus is free farms, and that's what you want as a Nasus. So even in solo queue, I've seen people do this. I mean, Nasus is a ramp top laner really. He's ramp up top, and people don't really like it because you can't win your lane so hard. But when you get free farm as a Nasus, you get to the point where you just 1v5. So
they actually picked Nasus last as well, just to see what Nigel Esports were going to go for.
So this should be a really easy gank for them, and Tundra is probably just going to level up his Wither now.
Yep.
At level 3, and they're going to go for this.
Going to Spirit Fire there to start things off. The Wither, there it is. It comes in after the W from Kha'Zix. And Maokai not even going to flash away from that one.
I don't think he was going to get away.
He didn't have flash anyway.
Maybe he flashed level 1 then as well to try and get the kill.
But Hecarim in bot lane goes on to hustling here with the spell shield on him. They try and go all in for the...
Samwise is going to turn this.
Samwise could definitely turn this. Going to get one. The Get Excited comes in as well.
He's going to get more.
He has red buff. Hustling steals one here, and now it's going to be Chriso to steal the last one. So that should have been a triple. Was one for every member there, but really good. Yep, and now Nutri's just going to jump on to the Hecarim here. Samwise getting the zap in there as well. And now they could go on to Veigar, but they were scared of exactly that. The stun coming in. But Vel'Koz is just going to 1v2 in the bot lane, come out with a kill. And they could even go on to Maokai here if they wanted to go for that greedy play. And it's a very, in fact, aggressive build coming out from Tundra as well. He's gone for those boots of mobility with the home guard.
Wow.
I'm expecting a teleport play to come in at some point in the near future. Maokai falls again here. They try going on to Morgana, but not finding that. Also something to note, Diana hasn't based in a very long time.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how much gold Diana has right now, because it's probably around 3,000 mark at least. Oh, they actually need the engage though. Here we go.
Are they going to find Samwise there? They aren't. In fact, it's going to be Morgana to go down, and then they just jump onto Hecarim because he has no escape. And now Tundra can just walk around in space. In fact, he's just going to go hit that tower.
How much damage?
Is he going to take?
He's going to go down though. Here we go. Now, see, Nutri wasn't attacking the tower.
Nutri's the shot caller. He was like, let's go for this tower. Let's get the tower, Tundra. Get the tower.
Oh, and Hustlin's
going to go down as well.
Oh, there you go. Nutri takes these two with the grave with him, and they're already low right now. This is obviously very aggressive. The FM guys are having a little bit of fun here. When I think Jinx goes back as well, she probably has similar.
She's going to have an IE and probably a Zill, probably maybe even
look at Vel'Koz's build. He has a rod.
Although Maokai going very deep here. Jinx will go down. And now Nasus coming in here, gets one, could go for more here. Morgana is tanking the tower.
Oh my god.
That Q was insane as he now starts to ghost. Didn't ghost, just going to go down for Chriso now jumping in. He does have that shield still going. The ult's going to be up soon. There it is, lands the Q just to get the ult reset. Jumps across onto Morgana with the second ult. And that was a lot of damage in, well, one spell there.
Yep, and Nasus only has around 200 stacks, I believe, right there, if I'm reading that correctly, I think, from the Spectator. And, I mean, that's not a lot.
That's about 2/3 of his farm, maybe 70%, probably a little bit more.
I mean, what he was just free farming, wasn't he?
He
He'd
was.
get every CS with that Q, and he's done a good job. And now he's coming down with the Triforce as well. He's got so much damage.
He's been roaming a lot now, which is why his farm's a little bit lackluster. But
Wow, that's
Q
like
onto
half his
Maokai.
health.
Wow, and now the Vel'Koz's going to come in. He will go down though, hustling. And now the Morgana chains gonna stun them up. Will survive as well. The
gonna
Wither.
one-shot him.
Yeah,
Oh,
there it is.
boy.
The one shot Sheen proc with a Q. FM probably looking to end the game here. In fact, Tundra's basing in this top
Well,
lane.
we're seeing the engage though.
Yeah, the Hecarim ult coming in, but they're going to isolate him straight away. The huge damage coming out from Nutri. Tundra has just based. I'm expecting a teleport home guard play to come in here. He does have it. The Vel'Koz ult keeping everyone away. The Super Mega Death Rocket missing, in fact, and here's the TP. He's going to be one very, very fast Nasus,
bought
and
a
there
BF
it is.
sword.
He got a BF sword and an Avarice Blade. Goes in. I'm pretty sure he probably one-hit Caitlyn there on about 60% HP.
Oh man,
This is game here.
Yeah, it's a very one-sided game. This is what we expected, honestly.
Yeah.
We were saying before, FM Esports have dominated the UK scene. They do this, not quite to this level, but they do this to teams that are, well, that are really good still. They do this to diamond teams.
Yeah.
It's just not on the same scale, but they are an absolute powerhouse. And this is why FM Esports have dominated the scene and why they are so strong. That is game for FM Esports. That's going to take them up in the standings. They are third right now.
Probably rivaling that top spot.
Yeah, they're going to be up there soon, and that is almost guaranteeing their trip to I-53 and the spot in the qualification tournament, or the Giffgaff
final
Legends
8 for
tournament.
Giffgaff Legends, with the chance to qualify for 4 nations. There's a lot of qualifying going on. But so there we have it. FM are your winners for the second match of tonight against Nigel Esports. Remember, let us know what you thought about those games by tweeting us #GiffgaffLegends, and we'll read through some of those and maybe even reply back. So the second game to FM Esports, we're going to bring up the final score screen just about now, so we can just have a look to see who died the most for FM. I think it was Hustling at the end there.
I think it was Hustling.
Yeah,
I mean, he's playing a very squishy champion.
Esports have done it again, but big up to Nigel Esports for giving it a go. We do love a bit of boldness on this show. Let's speak to FM captain Tundra. Thanks for joining us again, dude.
My pleasure.
So why don't you tell us about the match?
Nigel Esports, I have to give them a lot of credit because it takes a lot of balls to challenge a team like us when it's pretty much their first game, I think. And they gave it their best shot, and it was really fun to play against them.
So who are your next opponents?
Now that we've had sort of a few weeks to settle into our new roster, we're quite happy to play anyone who's willing to give us a challenge now. So I guess that's sort of like an open request.
Do you have any advice for teams, watching the tournament?
I would say just go for it. Take Nigel Esports as the example and challenge the big teams, because you'll only learn by playing teams who are better than you. There's no use just playing sort of teams of similar level to you, because you won't learn as much. You've got to eventually, if you're going to be a good team and challenge the top teams, eventually you're going to have to face them. So it may as well be sooner than later so you can learn from it.
Thanks again so much for joining us, Tundra. That's great. See you later.
My pleasure.
Our second match this week features the Atlas team versus London Conspiracy. It was the Atlas team's first game of this tournament, but they picked a team whose campaign is well underway. Yes, London Conspiracy were 9th in the table going into this and looking for a win to take them into the coveted top 8. With commentary from Komalala, here's how they got on.
This is London Conspiracy versus Team Atlas, and it's London Conspiracy on the blue side and Team Atlas on the purple side. I'll be running through the key points of the game and just talking through them. So we'll load into the first clip. We see Mundo here in the mid lane gets caught up by the Rune Prison, which enables Rise to burst him down and gets first blood. The top lane, Chum the Waters comes out by Fizz, tries to burst down Yasuo. He tries to kite away, but unfortunately the passive takes down and takes him out. During that time, the bot lane double kill goes out for Tristana due to the gank by Jarvan. We've seen this mid lane. Mundo was trying to defend his tier 2 tower in the mid lane, Rise to take a couple of tower shots, but the important part here is the bot lane where Vi comes over the wall. The arrow hits Tristana, she gets exhausted and gives Ashe that kill. Mundo got caught out in the mid lane, got dived, and then once again here in the bot lane, Thresh getting locked down by those soul shackles, Vi chasing him down, he uses that exhaust. Jarvan comes along to try and help him, but he focuses Ashe and Morgana. He's trying to take this down. Meanwhile, Rise comes along to try and help him, which gives them both those 2 kills. Fizz is trying to come in, clean up, does use that Chum the Waters, gives him the first kill, which is a shutdown onto Rise. He flashes to catch up with Jarvan. Jarvan trying to run away, but it's not really going to do anything. Playful Trickster takes him out. In the bot lane, 4 members of Team Atlas pushing this into the inhibitor turret. Mundo comes around the side, gets Rune Prisoned, which effectively lets them burst him down. Vi tries to go in, but that was a big mistake. Cataclysm goes down into 3 of them. She tries to use her Assault and Battery, really doesn't work. Morgana, the only one left, but gets hooked. Double kill for Tristana, which effectively lets Team Atlas push in this inhibitor turret, and they will pick it up. Chugging away at it. Fizz, the only one left, tries to get something off. He gets a kill, gets Rune Prisoned, and a double kill for Yasuo comes out in the end. There's still a good few seconds left on the death timers, but due to 4 people still being alive on Team Atlas, they are going to pick up that inhibitor and then back off. During this Dragon Pit, London Conspiracy are trying to go for this, and they've got it down pretty well, but Jarvan is along the side. He puts it in, gets vision, but it doesn't matter. He doesn't get the steal. Vi gets hooked. Jarvan gets bursted down. Yasuo comes in. Arrow hits only 1 person, but that's a kill for Yasuo. They're chasing down Thresh. He gets locked down by the Dark Binding. Fizz picks up that kill. So a bit of a comeback there for London Conspiracy. In the mid lane, members are trying to defend this inhibitor turret. Fizz tries to goes in, but it's not a really good idea. He gets the 2 of them with the last breath. Thresh gets takes down Vi actually. Does lock people down in his box. Jarvan in a bad place, but uses the flash over the wall. Meanwhile, Fizz gets a kill as well. And here is Tristana to try to get herself a kill, but it will go to Jarvan in the end. Ashe wasn't really in that fight. She was in the back line, but she had to use flash to get away. Tristana just going to chase down. She's got a lot of damage, and that was going to be an ace for Team Atlas. Just going to push down that inhibitor turret. There's nothing really that London Conspiracy can do. Vi is up a few more seconds on Morgana, but she can't defend this against 4 people. That second inhibitor is going to go down, and they're looking to effectively push into the Nexus towers. Rise trying to block them off. Nice wind wall by Yasuo. Vi comes along to use that Assault and Battery. Jarvan is here to help him out, but 3 versus 2 here. Cataclysm locked him down, doesn't matter. Takes down Vi anyways. Fizz is coming in. He does a lot of burst damage. Gets taken down. Chum the Waters locks up Yasuo. So double kill for Fizz here. Meanwhile, Ashe trying to defend that base. And here, now that Team Atlas have gotten that Baron buff, they get knocked up too, so which enables Yasuo to get that last breath. Cataclysm onto 2 members. Fizz here uses Chum the Waters, bursting down a few people. It doesn't matter. There's a lot of damage coming off from Team Atlas. They get a triple kill onto Yasuo, which will effectively let them win the game. And just looking at the post-game lobby stats, you can see that Team Atlas had a very convincing win. They were really far ahead in terms of gold, and kills and assists were evenly distributed amongst the team. So it was a pretty strong win by Team Atlas on their part.
A win for London Conspiracy there. Bad luck, Atlas team. They still need a win to kind of get themselves on the way. Teamwork is what it's all about when it comes to getting results in LoL, and the role of support is vital. If you want to know how to maximise your chances, this guide to playing support will certainly help you.
Support is one of the most diverse roles in League of Legends thanks to the wide range of playstyles the different meta champions have. Tanky supports such as Thresh and Braum soak up a lot of damage and have heavy crowd control effects to pick off enemies. Mage supports such as Janna and Nami have a mix of sustain abilities from heals and shields, with a few crowd control effects used predominantly for disengaging fights. Pairing a lane bully such as Lucian with Janna is a great combination due to the increase in AD when Lucian is shielded by Janna. Tristana and Nami work well together because of the sustainer lane from Nami's ebb and flow. Thresh is one of the most versatile supports when it comes to pairings, as his potential to catch enemies with Death Sentence and save vulnerable teammates with Dark Passage is unrivaled. One of the biggest factors in support playstyle are the different item paths to start the game. Relic Shield is an item made for tank supports. Last hitting a minion as support will give the gold to both AD carry and support when a Relic Shield stack has charged. Face of the Mountain is the tier 3 upgrade for Relic Shield, which can be used to shield a vulnerable ally. Spell Thief's Edge is a mage focus support item, which grants gold when you strike an enemy champion with an ability or auto attack. Upgrade Spell Thief's Edge to Frostfang and then Frost Queen's Claim to slow enemies by firing out a Frostbolt in a chosen direction. Ancient Coin is the third and least commonly purchased support item currently. Ancient Coin passively generates additional gold when you're near an enemy minion that dies which you didn't last hit. The Talisman of Ascension is the final upgrade for Ancient Coin, which when activated gives all nearby allies a massive movement speed boost. Core support items are your initial item of Relic Shield, Spell Thieves or Ancient Coin, with a Sight Ward, Health Potions and a Warding Trinket to begin the game. Your first item after this should be a Sight Stone, remembering to swap the Ward Trinket for a Sweeper Trinket at this time. From there, finish your chosen support item path. Mikhail's Crucible is an essential item while laning with a vulnerable marksman such as Cogmore or Twitch, or on mage supports as a general rule of thumb. Tank focus supports should look towards a Randuin's Omen as a further item, with all supports benefiting from a Locket of the Iron Solari and a Banshee's Veil in certain situations later in the game. Buy pink wards early and often throughout the game, it'll make taking objectives a lot easier. The role of supports in teamfights is generally to peel for the AD carry, or disengage a disadvantageous fight on champions like Nami and Janna. On Thresh and Braum, look for the engage before focusing on your peeling duty. This is just the basics of supporting, but it'll put you on the right path to guide your AD carry to victory.
To our third match this week. It features Barama Legends versus Best College UK. So Barama Legends had already played once this week against the Dream Scheme, which they kind of lost. Could they bounce back from defeat in this particular match? On paper, it didn't really look likely. You know, they're a bottom table team facing last week's league leaders, Best College UK. Let's find out what happened with commentary from Komalala.
This is Best College UK versus Barama Legends. You can look at the picks and bans by both teams and their composition, so we'll go into game and see exactly what happened and the key points of it. So we'll go into the first clip and see that Lee Sin was coming in for the gank to help Irelia. Rumble gets locked down a bit. Vi was hiding that brush, so she comes out, focuses all her attention onto Lee Sin. The Ignite goes down to Lee Sin and picks up that first blood for Rumble. Rumble and Thresh are trying to take this tier 1 tower in the top lane. Ari comes along, uses the charm and Orb of Deception, taking a good bit of chunk out of Rumble. He's trying to escape, but he'll get taken down to Ari. Thresh has to use Box and flashes away. Meanwhile, Katarina roams up, uses the ultimate, gets herself a double kill. Ari trying to get away. Vi is chasing her down and slowing her with that red buff, so she's not going to be able to get out. Katarina tries to get herself the triple, but Vi will pick that up. Here, a dragon fight was going to come out. Lucian in the backline using the culling. Rumble ultimate misses nearly everybody. Ari even focused down a little bit. Irelia gets taken down by Lucian. Monsoon being used by Janna. She gets taken down, which gives Lucian a double kill. Ari gets fallen to Rumble, and Katarina gets herself another kill. Tristana trying to get away will be the only member that will survive on her team. Here, Vi gets caught out with that charm. It's going to get chunked down. Thresh trying to put that lantern down, but it's too far away from Vi. She's going to fall. Rumble uses the Zanyas and will actually get away with it. Here, Tristana putting a lot of damage down to Lucian. Sonic Wave's Lan. Lee Sin goes in, uses the Dragon's Rage, but he falls. Tristana gets herself a double kill in the end, and the team picks up that tier 3 tower in the mid lane. Katarina comes along, gets herself a kill into Janna, but will fall to Irelia in the end. Here, there's some ward clearing coming out by Thresh. He extends too far, gets caught out by a lot of CC. Lee Sin picks up that kill. Rumble uses the Zanyas, but Katarina and Vi come along the side. Tristana trying to do something, but she gets caught out by that Assault and Batter. Uses the rocket ship away. Meanwhile, Lee Sin and Irelia in the backline. Katarina gets herself a kill. Monsoon used by Janna to heal her team. Ari comes along, tries to get something. Lucian trying to put burst down onto Tristana. He falls to Ari, and that's a double kill for Ari. They're trying to chase on Vi, which will give her a triple kill. Here, Irelia trying to recall the Dragon Pit, but gets caught out by that death sentence. Ari goes into the Dragon Pit, goes back out. A lot of damage has come out, 2 kills for team, but Ari goes back in. That was her last Spirit Rush. She falls in the end, so that is a 3-for-1 trade in favor of Barama Legends. Here, Rumble gets caught out, has to use that Zanya's culling, taking Janna really low. Ari tries to get something, she has to use the Spirit Rush away. Lucian has to flash as well. That said, it's onto Lee Sin, uses the safeguard. Ari gets exhausted down, 2 kills for Barama Legends. Nice rocket jump by Tristana over the wall. And Vi gets taken down by Tristana. She's doing a lot of damage over the wall. Death Sentence lands onto Tristana. Nicely done by Thresh, which enables Lucian to pick that up. Here, Tristana uses that rocket jump before the Assault and Battery connects, but Janna is here to try and help her AD carry. Irelia goes in onto Lucian. Ari is using the Spirit Rush to do some damage. Katarina gets exhausted, negating a lot of her damage. And Rumble here at the side, but he's going to have to back off. There's not much he can really do. Thresh is running away as well, but Irelia is still going to be persistent and try to chase him down. But they're just going to focus that inhibitor in the end. There's one Nexus tower down. They're going to go for the next one, but Vi tries to go on this. Zanya is used by Rumble. Thresh uses the box into 3 of them. Ari here along the side trying to do some damage as well. Rumble's focusing her down. Vi is misfocusing a bit, trying to go into Lee Sin. Tristana gets herself that kill. She's going to focus the Nexus tower. It's going to chunk them down. And here is Vi. She gets herself a kill. Janna uses that Monsoon perfectly on time. Irelia and Tristana just focusing the Nexus, and they'll take the win for Best Called UK in the end. So in that game, there was a lot of back and forth from both teams. It was a 37-minute game, so you can clearly see just by the gold, assists, kills, deaths, and the farm that both teams were. And just even looking at the key points in the game, there was constant back and forth, but persistent win by Best College UK in the end, and they were victorious.
Great news for Barama Legends. They scored the shock result of the week. Let's speak to the team captain, Volcano. So you beat Best College, the #1 team in the rankings at the time.
Yeah, we'd been wanting to play them because they'd been top and they'd had some very good games. Like we saw their game against Obamacare when they played very well, and we weren't completely sure what to expect when coming in. But actually playing them, they were very good. They were very well organized as a team, and they played really well together. And we fell quite far behind for a lot of the game. And that was through because they had really good vision control and objective control, and it kind of caught us off guard. But then we were able to win by using the fact that we had a teleport on our side and they didn't. So I went bot lane, and then they had to send over a few people, and we were able to get a couple of picks and then win the game off of that.
How do you see your chances at making it all the way to the finals?
We've lost to quite a few of the teams which are currently in the top 8. So London Conspiracy, You What Mate, Mistakes Were Made, those kind of teams. But then they weren't complete stomps. So I think we'd like the opportunity to play them again and see if we could have another go and maybe try and beat those teams. But if we can't do that, then I don't think we have if we're able to beat them, then we have a good chance. But if we're unable to beat them, then I think chances are probably slim.
Well, thank you so much, and we'll talk to you very soon. Our last featured match highlights come from another one of the live stream games from Wednesday's show between Team Infused and Mistakes Were Made. It was an interesting matchup between 2 of the UK's top teams. In this tournament, they're both sitting in the top 8 of the standings, but not yet within reach of the top 3 spots. Team Infused were at number 5 going into this, and Mistakes at number 7. Let's find out how they got on with commentary from Josh Fye Wyatt and Ben Hosford.
It's a very risky composition, I think, from Mistakes Were Made if they don't get ahead early, because they are picking 3, not really losing lanes, but they're picking 3 lanes that have the possibility of losing. And if 3 lanes get behind, you know how difficult the game is going to be.
Yeah, game over.
it's a very strange composition from Infused, and it's hard to predict how this game is going to go because we've never really seen anything like this. We didn't expect this in our research. We've looked these teams up. This is not something we were expecting at all.
For Infused, they do spot Tudup and Lana Del Cray, who has got that name change, I believe, as the Q lands from Dan. Is he going to follow up? He is. Jinx flashes to the other side. Aggressive. Alchemist, kind of expecting the stun here, forces the heal. Dan does flash, gets the first blood in there as well. I'm surprised Alchemist didn't take his Q.
He did take his Q, but he actually used it on the initial invade to try and stop Kali following up. He didn't save it before.
It's going to be a long chase as now top lane Dan is here to provide support, try and get this Nami. Dragon is up in 2 minutes. They're going to try and do as much as possible. The heal, the flash comes down. Flash from Dan as well. The auto attack finishing him off, and now the shield from Wawa.
Oh, he get double here. This is going to be really big for Tudup if he picks this up.
Trying to go for it.
Oh, the ultimate is going to pick him up. That is 2 kills for Tudup. That is huge. Now, that is a little bit greedy from Dan to go for the Nami. When you're having to flash for the support to kill him, it's good trade if you can get out, but the flash from Tudup, that rocket was really good.
They need to tank this one.
They have no idea.
No,
Numlock's farming golems. There's
no wards on this. This is a really great play for Infused here.
Look at Nami. She's being very careful. She knows that something's up, but they're not going to get there in time. She's going to see it go down.
The tidal wave's just going to come in to try and CC them. The Baron does go down. Didn't do enough damage to Dan. And they're going to escape. Rifty wanting to try and burst this one down.
Wow,
in fact, they're going to get it. No.
Oh, the Crucible.
The Mikhail's Crucible.
He's going to get away.
And Rifty's going to die here as well. That was really well played.
That was incredibly well played. That was really, really good there. I mean, the Crucible bait there, he didn't use it to hit himself. He used it as he jumped to make sure that he didn't get anything there. And then the bubble after with the Cataclysm follow-up, that was really well played. It was for the Jarvan, I believe. But
they are all very low.
Yeah, they are very low.
And against the double assassin, Alpha Strike resets for days. Caitlyn gets one onto the Nami, and now Jarvan falls to the Akali. Now Jinx, because what escapes does Jinx has, and it's now just Ryze and Anivia left. Geobert does get stunned up.
Rifty's leaping around though. If he catches them, they are really in trouble right now. Baron is respawned though, and now we're going to see the famous Baron dance. That is unfortunate. Here we're going to see another fight though.
Dan's going to get this double, almost trap CC'd here. Akali coming in. In fact, they can turn this around. Rifty and Geobert just melting these 3 players. A double kill for Rifty. Geobert coming in there.
I think the reason he isn't is because Jarvan's looking for the fight here. Here we go. This is what we expected.
EQ in, gets monsooned away straight away, and now Rifty going in onto Numlock with the backup of Dan. The Q hits Nami. And now the tidal wave coming in as well. This is very big. The Zonya's going to stop any damage.
They're taking the inhib though. They don't even care.
Geobert's just like, well, you want to focus my Akali, I'm just going to be here taking the inhib. And then a Jarvan 2. This damage is insane. Flashes out as well. Dan providing the safeguard, just giving that extra bit of a shield, but Rafa's now caught.
Hit it.
Just get the in there. No, that's not it. Caitlyn dies. Ryze now dies. There we go. Dan gets the inhib, but it does cost him his life. A 3-for-2 trade. The inhib comes down. Probably a 2-for-4. There we go. And 4 members die. Geobert though. So whatever mistakes were made, do now. Geobert could just go top and push that in. I feel like an AD carry in this situation isn't exactly needed, because all the damage is coming out from Akali and Caitlyn. The monsoon is forced to super mega death rocket coming in, and now Jarvan's all isolated. He's gonna not get taken down just yet. He's trying to find another kill in here. There we go. He finally dies. Dan trying to escape with a Q onto someone else, but now Geobert coming in with this red buff on him. Alpha Strike gets 1. Akali going back in with the ultimate, gets the second.
They could turn this. Oh, I missed that.
If that hit, then they could have done. But Geobert pops his ult only just now. Now going to focus on Tudup, gets that, and now all the life steal from the Anivia egg. Look at that lightsaber. That is game. 5 men die. 4 mistakes were made, and mistakes certainly were made this game. As the bot lane is going to get pushed in.
That was almost as cheesy as this U pick, Hoss. That was very cheesy. This really impressive from Infused. I said that these guys were most likely going to outplay them in rotations and team play. That's exactly what we saw the entire game. They took the Baron, they took favourable trades from the turrets, and this was a really, really interesting game to watch. I've never seen a double cheese comp
work
like
so
that.
well.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are really, really good.
Yeah, that was a really good game, and there we have it. Infused take the win over mistakes were made. A clash of 2 really great UK teams there. So
this is going to be really. I'm really excited to see MCM now, because These guys are obviously going to be playing there. They might not meet each other too early, but if they do get further up in the bracket, they'll meet each other. And obviously, these guys can play each other again in the Giffgaff tournament
whenever
they want. You challenge someone. There's over 30 teams to challenge, obviously, but these guys could play each other again. If mistakes were made, we're like, damn, we had that game, we could have done that. Then they're just going to come back and do it again. So you can see the end of the stats screen here.
Just quickly, if Studio could go to damage done on one of the graphs or grids, I just want to see the Caitlyn damage compared to the Assassins. There we go. So we've got damage dealt to champions. You've got Yi on 13k, Akali on 26k. Caitlyn, in fact, only did 25k, so did more than Yi. That one was surprising to me.
Yeah, but I think that's mostly from lane phase. I don't think it was.
In team fights.
Well done, Team Infused. An amazing match with lots of action. We enjoyed this match so much that we're handing out an award to one of the teams in it. You know, despite mistakes were made, losing, their quick thinking and teamwork was really, really good. In particular, this moment for us made the best play of the week. Team Infused just secured the Baron buff in the river, and Infused Rifty Akali catches Zodiac Nami out of position and begins a chase. Nami heads towards the red jungle on a sliver of health with Akali still in pursuit when, "Hi, I'm Lasagna," Jarvan appears and uses the red buff to slow Akali. Nami uses Exhaust on Akali to further slow and reduce any damage taken, while activating her Mikhail's Crucible, which is an item, to grant her that life-saving small boost of health to allow her to escape the engage. Jarvan ults Akali to prevent her from getting to Nami, and Nami also lands a great bubble whilst fleeing to prevent Akali from escaping the situation and allowing her team to finish off the kill. Magical stuff. Now, let's take some time out and consider how lucky we are if we're one of those players who belong somewhere, who belong to a team, because there are people out there who aren't quite as fortunate. Yes, you can hear the sad music, it's the Lonely Hearts Club. The online service for bringing people together. We're like the friend who can't wait to host a dinner party and basically just play matchmaker. You know, any excuse to get out the cheese and pineapple hedgehog and prawn cocktail crisps. I don't need a reason, do you? This week, we want to put a little sunshine in the life of Lewis. Now, he says, disclaimer, I'm a Silver 1 scrub, so do be gentle with him. It's good to set expectations, but with a bit of encouragement, he might just turn out to be your star player. Lewis is 24 and has been playing League for almost 3 years. His favourite champion is Vega, and he also owns all of the skins apart from Final Boss. He can be open-minded, you know, with his role play, although he does prefer jungle or support. In terms of what he's looking for in a team, he's not too fussy, although he does work full-time, so maybe the late-night encounters may not be super ideal. And if any teams out there would like to invite Lewis to join them, do please get in touch. Email esports@giffgaff.co.uk. Before I start, you know, buying a hat, let's get back to the action. This week we've seen victories from FM Esports, London Conspiracy, Barama Legends and Team Infused. So the league table as it now stands. Ledge status goes to FM Esports, whose win catapulted them from 4th to 1st, essentially swapping places with Best College UK. Other climbers are Team Infused and Risky Recalls, now in 6th place. However, the news wasn't so good for Helix Guitar Gaming, Best College, You What Mate and All For None, who all dropped down in the rankings. This week's victory for London Conspiracy has seen them take up the last spot in the top 8, and Perilous Rift and Obamacare make their first appearances on the league table in 9th and 10th places. Will they continue to progress next week? We'll find out. And if you want to follow the action during the week, just visit the esports portal at esports.giffgaff.com. There's also lots of other interesting stuff on there, like a spotlight on casting by Joe Munchables Fenny, passing on some really good advice from the likes of Redeye and D-Man. Don't forget our Lonely Hearts call out. Send us an email to esports@giffgaff.co.uk. If you're a team and you want to meet our Player of the Week, Lewis, aka Chesney, go on, he might just be who you need. That's it for this week. There'll be more match highlights next week, and don't forget to catch the live stream on Wednesday from 7 to 9 PM on twitch.tv/Giffgaff. See you on the Rift.
Ha ha ha!